Norway is a fantastic country for AI data centers. It's renewable power, it's got great fiber connections, and the power input cost is below 4 cents a kilowatt hour.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Alex Cuppage. He is the Chief Investment Officer for VivoPower International. And Alex, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Steve. Lovely to see you again, and thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, well, we've talked in the past about this acquisition you made in the Nordics, and it's now it's closed, so that's exciting news for the company. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to sort of talk through what that means for Vivo Power and why this acquisition is so important to the company. So why don't we begin there? Let's start with the advantages that you see here for the company.
Well, look, yeah, so maybe just kind of unpacking what we've achieved. So this is our first big kind of closing on an acquisition since we've transitioned to AI infrastructure. So we've acquired an asset in Norway, which is 42 megawatts of operational capacity with a further 40 megawatts of adjoining land that we can develop out for AI data centers in the future. What's really key for us here, Steve, on this transaction is, first of all, on a pro forma annualized basis, it's going to contribute about 10 million of EBITDA to Vivo itself, which will return Vivo to profitability. So we thought that was a really key fundamental message that we wanted to show the market and tell the market and build the company upon. The second great thing was the vendors have become our partners. So we're incredibly fortunate to meet a great group who have taken a meaningful proportion of the purchase consideration in Vivo stock, and they're going to be our long-term partners, and we're delighted to have them on the journey. The other great thing about this asset is it hits exactly in our thesis. So we are really focused on acquiring assets where we really like the basis, the fundamentals stand up, both in terms of the purchase price or the price per megawatt and the future possibilities to drive additional revenue. But also, Norway is a fantastic country for AI data centers. It's renewable power, it's got great fiber connections, and the power input cost is below 4 cents a kilowatt hour.
And this particular area, because of where it is and how it's situated, is ideal for these data centers. And people may not realize that the importance of that area.
Yeah, well, look, the Nordics is getting a lot of attention at the moment, obviously, with the Atnor transaction and a lot of eyeballs. But, underneath the radar, a lot of very smart people and operators have been looking and building in Norway and operating data centers. And as I mentioned before, there's great fiber connections both across into Europe and back to North America. But also it's cold, which obviously suits data centers that generate a lot of heat, and the power is renewable. And again, it's low cost power, and that's super important. And again, within Vivo, our thesis is to focus on acquiring assets where the input power cost is less than 5 cents a kilowatt hour. And that
Mm.
is incredibly important because, some of the research that we've done, and I would caveat it that this is our research, but we have seen some operator models where for every cent increase in kilowatt power hour, it can decrease their operating margin by 7%. So we think from a tenant viability perspective, having long-term cheap hydropower is going to be very attractive to bringing tenants into this market.
And people may look at it and go, but it's cold, but cold is important when you talk about AI data centers, and that allows you to naturally keep the cost down, so to speak.
Yeah, you can improve the efficiency for sure. Obviously, you've got to build it up there. Where we feel really fortunate is our construction partners. Actually, they started in the Nordics and have a phenomenal track record of building data centers in the Nordics, and they actually construct a lot of the data center offsite in factories. So
Mm.
they will lay down the foundations and then they will bring it in modulars and construct it like Lego bricks. And it can be built incredibly fast. So you can deliver a 100 megawatt data center in minus 20 degrees in 12 to 15 months. So
Mm.
I think when people start to unpack the attractiveness of Norway, but also the entire Nordic region, it just makes a lot of sense and the fundamentals are very strong.
So looking ahead, Alex, how do you see the Nordics platform evolving as Vivo expands its AI, but also its energy solutions, and not only there, but globally?
Yeah, so look, I guess, our thesis globally is to partner with sovereigns where
Yeah.
they are making a very long-term strategic bet on AI infrastructure. And we want to be the delivery partner to the sovereigns. So when we look at Europe, really we see the most attractive countries to be Norway, Finland, and Denmark, where as I mentioned, their fundamentals, their geographic location, their fiber connection and their long-term renewable power, it becomes an incredibly interesting market. So we see those three countries that I mentioned as very strategic to building Vivo going forward. And we've obviously got other interests in Finland, and we continue to look and build upon that asset base.
Well, exciting times ahead for sure. Alex, thanks so much for giving us a quick update on this. Congratulations on the closing, and we look forward to our next conversation. Okay.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, Steve.
There's Alex Cuppage, the Chief Investment Officer for VivoPower.